Hey guys, I'm just doing some therapy videos because it's good for me to vent. My name is Wallace. I am a vampire, uh, but I am currently dealing with uh, a lot of feelings, but one feeling in particular that I know very well is something not to be joked around with. It's a very serious feeling. Uh, It's probably one of the worst things that I've ever felt. Um, and I've felt a lot of feelings, I've felt a lot of pain in my life. But I gotta say, there's a very special kind of pain um, because the after effects of what I'm about to talk about is it's like a lingering. It's like having a wound inside that's like festering. It's like needs to be cleaned out. That's basically what I'm doing. Just talking about it. And I want to talk about what the problem is. Problem is called racism. I know that people don't really like to talk about that, and uh, I'm getting a lot of experience with racism and understanding the effects and uh, the the effects on the body. You talk to someone you love, and they're looking at you like they look at you like you're and treat you like you're an animal, like a bad kind of animal. And I think that's my simple way of saying it. It's like, okay, hey friend, how you doing today? Oh, you're gonna treat me like I'm a bad animal. Well, that's interesting. Why are you doing that? What happened? I just saw you. I just saw you a couple days ago, and I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your actions. I can see. I'm feeling it right now. I'm noticing it. What happened? And that's typically how I approach the symptoms of it. So, yeah, I'll just talk about it. I'm Hispanic. My mother was born in Mexico. Uh, I was born in California. I live in the South. I live in Dothan. And it's interesting. I know that just talking about it, I'm a human being, and other people are human beings too with their own beliefs, just like I've got beliefs. I happen to be considered a pretty person. I am rather good looking, I would say so. And, I'm blessed for that. And I'm also, to add on to that, I heard today someone funny, two women speaking. One woman said, "Oh, look at him. He thinks he's a superhero." And I heard another younger woman say, "Well, he is." I also happen to be a vampire. So this is interesting. It's like, well, from a vampire perspective, I feel this is a bit silly. But even though all of that said, those things about me, and there's more to me than just how I look, clearly. Uh, but uh, and where my origin, where I was born. And beyond that, you know, um, I'm not above. I'm not separate from the topic and uh, the thing about racism. So, um, let me just say that I've had other videos about racism. Um, Me personally, I love everybody. I think the different, you know, and that I think different people, different cultures are beautiful. But now I'm at a particular standpoint where it's interesting for me because I saw my grandmother the other day and I said, "Your grandmother?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're the only Mexican person I know." She said, "Really?" Well, only Mexican person I really talk to, on a regular basis and close to. She said, "Yeah, well, yeah, there's other Hispanics here in Dothan." I'm like, "Well, huh." I was like, "Wait a second." And, it made me think about this video series. I don't think that I've mentioned in other videos about, with me venting about my feelings. I think it's absolutely necessary to build a bridge between different cultures, and it's best to have these bridges um, between people so that we can, communicate and love each other, and people love each other. People are adorable on the inside and cute, and I think, you know, I believe in God. I believe God made it so that people are supposed to actually get along. I believe that. I believe that love conquers all. Absolutely believe that love conquers all. And I believe different cultures working together. It's good. It's good for a lot of reasons. You know, and and also it's interesting how I've noticed that that being a talking about being a vampire. When I look like a vampire, when I look very, my skin changes a lot, and maybe my mannerisms and way I'm moving changes to a particular way. It kind of hurts, now that I'm starting to get a little bit more experienced and older. I'm like, wait a second. Like, I don't really think that I'm being scary right now. I think that maybe the way I am is activating a part of the brain of a particular person that has to do with identifying race, but it's different. I definitely, if I am being honest right now, like I realize that seeing it's it's just very complicated being a vampire, but it is kind of relieving. I'll be honest with you, like someone's like I get a lot of positive attention. I'm grateful for that. I really do. Um, in my life, I do. Uh, and you know, part of me is like, well, you're judging me just based off of how I look, and that I look like I'm Hispanic, and everything else don't matter right now. Well, I guess kind of thank you. I mean, being from my standpoint of being straight up called, people call me a superhero and calling me not a superhero, and there are people arguing and being called a vampire and people being afraid. Like all of that don't matter right now. All that matters is that I look Hispanic? I'm like, well, okay then. And that's why I'm like, part of me is like, uh, I'm dealing with these feelings. It's like a feeling of feeling inadequate. I'm like, well, I know everything that I know most of everything that I'm capable of doing and stuff like that. And like I've done a lot of things that I consider wonderful, and I feel this kind of burden and this kind of wound inside of me, and I feel kind of sick from being hurt. And I'm like, well, I guess in a way that's kind of balancing out the good with the bad. If this is a reality that I have to deal with, that's okay. I mean, it brings my baseline of existence, like my baseline, my norm, to a more, I would say, healthy, balanced, you know, um, a balanced point. And I think I've got a lot of opinions and beliefs, but I'm just talking from a personal standpoint. You know, I do feel like right now I'm kind of shutting down. Uh, like it don't really matter who the person is, or it could be any person. To be honest, right now talking to me, and I just kind of try to not have a conversation, just be left alone. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's only because I feel the after effects of feeling like the pain of racism, but I think it's also because just life circumstances affecting me, and I think it's healthy. I think it's normal to feel periods of time uh, where you want to be left alone, or you feel like you feel down a bit. And I know that inside of me there's a lot of potential, a lot of energy, and I still have all those gifts that but that I've developed. But right now, it's just kind of quiet. It's like you ever see, like, I'm from Colorado. Like I was raised pretty much in Colorado, and we have winter storms, and like during not a bad storm, but just like where there's snow falling lightly. There's snow on the ground, and it's just kind of quiet, and you just want to stay inside. That's kind of how I feel. That's how I would describe it. I just want to let people be who they are. I want to bring out greatness in people, but right now, I enjoy doing that. It's a beautiful thing. I enjoy seeing beauty. I enjoy seeing beauty in people. I've given up a lot of things to be able to get better at that. Uh, and I don't think I would change those decisions that I made, or perhaps was assisted in making, by other people helping me, trying to do the best for me as well in certain ways. I like who I am. Um, yeah. One thing that I've definitely appreciate that I've learned to automatically do is to not react. Like when people do or say or look at me and treat me uh, with clearly with racism in their intent, in their hearts, um, I've learned to automatically just not react. Just play pretend. Like, oh, it's like I may not realize it at the point, but then like a few moments later, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and then later on, like I am right now, I feel the pain. It's like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to be there. I'm not allowed to speak. I'm not allowed to date. I'm not allowed to do, not allowed to do any of that, which is clearly not true. But again, part of me is kind of, it has that relief factor to it. So I'm like, there's a humility. I'm like, I enjoy thinking like this, and the reason why is I'm like, I'm a vampire. Like, to a vampire, that's all. This is I'm actually feeling right now, which is, you know, to me, there is a beauty to it. The pain that I feel right now, it's not like breaking my leg. It's not like that. It's not tremendous, but there's a beauty to it. You know, there's a lot of ugliness, clearly, but then seeing it for what it is and how my body's reacting is it is there is a beauty to it, and part of me wants to question, like because like my thinking is like, well, there I have a mental escape to just at least have a mental escape being able to be a vampire, to think like a vampire. But I'm like, do I really? You know, I may believe that I could, start thinking like a vampire and everything inside of me is okay for a period of time. But, is that true? And the reason why I'm saying that is that, I like to think that there's a difference. Like, oh, vampire, totally different. Totally, it's like a different thing. It's totally different than being a regular human being. It's not true at all. No. How is that different? Like, I'm trying to define the boundaries between being a regular human being and being a vampire. And the more that I understand racism and understand my feelings, there are no lines. I would go as far as say there are no lines. Still human. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for letting me vent, and just gonna relax a bit. Hope y'all have a good night.